The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Whether you're new to sales or a lifetime veteran, the Blackbelt Sales Podcast will sharpen your sword and guide you to master the art of sales. And now, here's your host, the ninja himself, Gene Slade.
Hey, welcome back into the Blackbelt Podcast Sales Studio. I've got Don Johnson with me this morning. I'm going to see if I can point correctly this time. Boom, I got it. You just got to point the opposite. Don is a former 8-figure contractor and also an executive coach over here at Lead Ninja. He's a former certified financial planner, so he's got some expertise that I definitely don't have. And today we're going to be talking about what's going on in the trades when it comes to people putting you off or giving you stalls or saying they want to think about it. And we're also going to talk about things that you guys might be missing when it comes to serving your clients at the highest level. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any of those platforms where you can't actually see us, man, it would mean the world to us if you would go over and hit those stars for us and leave us a quick little review. It just means the world. It helps to get our podcast out to more people, helps us to help other people. And if you're watching on a video and you're watching us live, will you please put live down in the comments? Help to trick that algorithm into sending this out to more people for us. Pretty please and thank you. And if you're watching it on a replay, just type replay and that will do the same. So Don, let's get it started this morning. Let's talk about this full inspection and things that people are missing. I want to get your take on it here for 120 seconds. And then I actually have an experience from this morning where I was doing a private coaching, one-on-one coaching with one of my clients, our clients. And there was a perfect example of how we are leaving money on the table and at the same time, not serving our clients at the highest level. So let's talk about making that full list and doing the full inspection real quick. How important was that to you in building your company, your contracting company out in Birmingham, Alabama?
Well, too many of the service techs feel like if I bring up something other than the one item they called me out here for, then I'm just trying to be salesy. And that's not the case at all. If you go to the doctor and they notice you've got high blood pressure or about to have a heart attack, but yet you're only there because you have a pain in your neck, wouldn't you want them to bring that up? And it's our job whenever we go on someone's property to let them know everything that we do that would benefit that property. It's their job. It's their decision whether they want us to do it now, later, or never. It's okay if they say no. So big part of that is our job is to let them know everything that we do that property would benefit from. If you're plumbing, if you're HVAC, if you're electrical, it's the full inspection. And sometimes now it's time I need to just make sure everything else is set and full inspection. Take me to your panel, take me to your outdoor system. Tell them where you need to go as opposed to begging them. It's act as if it is normal to do a full inspection everywhere you go. It's not the odd item to do a full inspection. Act as if that's just the way it is. And then you can, if they give pushback, then you can go through a little speech that helps to clarify that for them.
Don said to share with them. I might be messing up the words, but essentially it was share with them everything that we do or could do in the house. And another way to say that would be you want to make a list or note everything that you see or notice about the property. What I mean by that is anything that it has or maybe does not have, right? It might have something that is leaning towards disrepair and going to fail in the future, but what does that property not have? And you've got to look at everything from top to bottom, from one end of the house to the other, if you really want to take care of your customer at the highest level. And an example from this morning, done with the electricians that I was working with over in Ocala. You know the people.
Yes. Love them.
Yeah. I was working with Drew this morning, Drew, Dalton, and Jeremy. And Drew made a list, and they ended up buying everything on his list. It was like $2,600 call. It should have been maybe like a $500 call if he wasn't following the process somewhat, right? And I'm looking at his paperwork, and I just kind of had this feeling that he didn't go everywhere he should have gone. And so I started asking him questions because I didn't see anything about grounding on the list. There was no option for making sure there was a double grounding rod. And a lot of houses just have a single grounding rod, right? So I asked him, how was the grounding? Did you go out and make sure there were 2 grounding rods? And he went, I didn't. And I'm like, why? Like, I don't understand, other than a dispatcher, a CSR having their foot in my back trying to push me to another call. Guys, you have to make the most out of every single call that you're on. That means if you're an HVAC technician, that you crawl from one side of the attic to the other. You've got to do the things that other people won't do in order to have the things that other people won't have, and to perform like other people don't perform. So it was just a perfect example of, if we slow down, Don, and take the time that we need at calls, we don't have to run 7 calls a day, do we?
No, you might have 2 to 3. And I would always say that the perfect world when I was in running the company was 1 call a day, because you're going to go out, full inspection, present a list, sell it, and stay the rest of the day doing all that work. That would be an ideal world. And with a lot of guys telling us that the call volume's not there and they seem slow. Well,
Yeah.
1 call a day is all you need to have a great day. You just have to do a full inspection. And are you really selling anything to people, or are you really doing something to them or for them, right? The inspection is doing nothing to them. It's doing something for them. It's their decision whether they want to take care of these items now or later, again, or never. That is their decision for it. But it's your decision. It's your push that says, I'm going to do the best job for these people possible, whether they want me to do all this work or not. I'm still going to give them everything that this house could benefit from, that I do the work for, that I can do for them. And that's it.
And then let them make the choice.
Let them make the choice. Exactly.
Right. Like, if we looked at the HVAC industry, if you came out to my house, and I mean, you don't know me or my family, right? And if you make certain assumptions about the fact that we don't have any sort of challenges with air quality, for instance, you're making assumptions again. And did you guys know that 1 in 4 people in the world have 0 ability in their body to fight molds? That they lack the marking system to have it exterminated in their body? And how many people live in the average house, guys? Is it 4?
Yeah.
So what's the statistical likelihood that almost every house I go into is going to have somebody that is in that position? So look, if you don't bring it up, you're not being of service. Okay. Being a good salesperson is not about getting people involved with shit they don't want or need. That's not what being a professional salesperson is about. It's actually about caring about people. It's actually about caring less about how they treat you than what it is that you're trying to do for them. How many of you out there right now are scared to present additional things because you feel like the customer might think you're trying to, or tell you you're just trying to sell me something? You're more concerned about the way that you feel and you're being perceived than you are that other human.
We're worried about what people will think about us if we actually show them. We heard that earlier. I'm worried that somebody might think of me as a salesperson. Well, I think of salespeople as very good professionals. So there's a mindset shift for that person. It's okay. I don't mind being called a salesperson. It's our job. Our job is to make people feel good about buying from us. right?
That's it.
It's okay if they say no to something, and it's great if they say yes to something. It's perfectly acceptable either way. And I will say that it's the let me think about it and get back with you later that drive you crazy. It's not the no's that make you mad in this world. Take a no
Mm-mm.
and move on. It's the chasing people forever and they just go into avoidance mode for you that drives you crazy. So do the full inspection. If somebody pushes back, say, I understand how you feel. I have clients every week that have felt the same way, have felt the same way about that. But what we always find is that there's always a little couple of free adjustments we can make that will keep you from having other issues, maybe even prevent you from having property damage. So let's go ahead, so with your permission, let's go ahead and get this taken care of. Let's go ahead and get your inspection done. Most will not come back after that. Most will say, okay, go ahead.
And Don's talking about when you get some sort of resistance to doing a full inspection, right? Because you will get that.
And isn't that why we don't do the full inspection? It's not really that they're hard to do, and it's not really we don't want to do them. We've been told to do them. We're scared the customers are going to push back. Isn't that the real reason we don't do or push for them? Is because we're afraid they'll say no. Well, as long as you have a little something that you can try, and that would be perfect. Script that out. It's a feel, felt, found. I know feel, felt, found is a very old sales technique, but feel, felt, found is herd and pack mentality. All we're doing is bringing in the safety and comfort of others to make them feel good about going forward with this inspection. Understand how you feel. I've had other clients that have felt the same way. That's the herd and pack mentality. But what we found is that once we've done the inspection, there's almost always a few free little adjustments that I can make that keeps us from having to come back out here on just little nuisance type situations for you. So with your permission, let's go ahead and get that done while we're here today.
Man, I wish I could get a salesperson to come into my house and do that for me. Like I would buy no questions asked if they just ran something that like it's yes, it is old school. Don mentioned that, right? But baby, old school still works. Okay, I ain't as good as I once was.
Paper, paper is still old school, and I'll tell you, go old school when you do your inspection. Write it down. Even if your company has forms, okay, we'll do that at the end and give them their forms and make it official. But when you write it on a notepad, you're doing something special for them that no one else ever will do. And it creates one of the laws of persuasion called reciprocity, basically reciprocation. If you do a little extra for them, they'll do a little extra for you. And the extra we want from them is just to listen. That's really what reciprocation we want, is if we do the extras and they reciprocate, they will listen. Well, the best scripts in the world do not convince people to buy when the customer isn't even listening, right? So I just need them to listen, and then our questions will engage them, and good things will happen from there. So do the full list, write it all down. Of course, we're going to tell you, put the stuff in the mandatory. That's the most important things that can be put off until later in the next section. And really just nice to have: water filtration, water, air purifiers, and
a generator.
Aren't those nice to have? A generator with a water filtration system and the best indoor air quality stuff. All of that's nice to have. There's no doubt that stuff is nice to have. And if it were free, customers would just say, can you put it in? Yeah, just go right ahead and put it in. So get it on the list, and it's okay when they say, no, we're not going to take care. We're not those kind of people. Of course, when they push back from that, all you got to do is, can you say more about that? And they might just tell you exactly why they're pushing back. I don't have that much money. Oh, totally get it. I understand. And when will you have the money? Oh, shit, we're getting a good tax refund. Okay, I understand. I'll take care of it for you today, and you just pay us when you get the money. It plays right. If you will open up and get people to talk, more good things happen. If you listen, but you got to listen, not just to respond, but to actually hear what they're saying, or hear what they're saying, but between the lines, almost how you say you read into it a little bit. So you were taking some notes there. What went through your mind, Gene?
Well, you're talking about we are talking about making these lists, right? And breaking them up into different categories. And I can only imagine the listeners or the people watching this right now trying to figure out what that looks like in their heads. And I do have one video on my YouTube channel that you could probably go find about making a prioritized list. But the best way to do that, if you want to become a sales ninja, if you want to know how to really, really get clients excited about stuff they've never even thought about, you're going to want to make it over to our next class in Florida. It's March 20th through the 24th. You'll check into a 16,000 square foot mansion where we'll be staying together. And I've got 12 seats left as of this morning, I believe. But that's where we're going to teach you the process. That's where we're going to help to get you up to speed in 3 days of training to go back and absolutely crush things like you've never crushed them before. And I know that sounds a little bit salesy, right? I am marketing myself and us right now. But the success stories that come out of these events are just absolutely phenomenal, life-changing. People doing 7 figures in a month. Okay, so if you've been curious about what all this is all about and you're ready to get yourself tuned up so that when you go into summertime, you're not, missing opportunities and leaving tons of money on the table that you'll need for the fall. Go ahead and put mansion down below. Put mansion down below. And I'm going to ask Brittany to bring that comment back up in a second because I was not looking at it. But put mansion down below. We're going to teach you how to make those prioritized lists. People typically get all of their money back for this class within 30 days. That's how fast the money comes back to you. So this is actually the cheapest class that you can attend from a return on investment standpoint. The absolute cheapest. Just so you know, your food, your lodging.
It's not the cheapest. It's not the cheapest class, but it is the cheapest when you look at your return on investment. How, if you spend $1,000, do you want it to take you 10 years to get that $1,000 back, or do you want to spend $6,000 and take you 2 weeks and to get that return? And that's typically what we see are guys making extra, especially business owners. The managers and business owners see their recoup within weeks, if that long. Sometimes it's the first 2 or 3 days they see the results.
Perfect example of exactly what you're talking about, Don, was Alex coming back from this last mansion event. He was an installer, came to the event, and in the first week back, sold $35,000 worth of stuff. As an installer, that's a $1.7 million run rate. I don't know who this Facebook user is because they're commenting through one of our groups, but it says it is the cheapest because of what they learn. No, this, bar none, my training is the cheapest to come to because of the return on investment. Would you rather spend, I'm just going to ask, and these are not numbers for the training, but would you rather spend $5,000 and make $10,000 back, or would you rather spend $10,000 and make $100,000 back the first year? That's what we're talking about. Right. Many guys, we will add 6 figures of income to their income, instantly within 30 days.
Get them on pace for making that. We typically have, we're talking, a little self-promoting here, but we typically have about a third of the people are comfort advisors, HVAC. Half are probably HVAC service techs who probably can sell equipment, but do it as a service tech. And then the remainder are probably plumbers and electricians in the class. So
depends on the time of year.
Exactly. It does depend on the time of the year. We've had classes that were almost all electricians one time. So it happens. But plumbers, electricians benefit, HVAC techs benefit, and comfort advisors. I'm a little biased, but I think comfort advisors see quicker return because they can go out and sell a $15,000 or $20,000 system.
Thank you.
That might commission them $2,000 on the first day. So yeah,
But I get solar guys in there, Don. I get pest control guys. I get garage door guys. Like if you're a bathroom and home remodeler, you should come out. This works for everything.
The sales process is a sales process, and that's what it really teaches. The scripts then get customized to each industry, and that's why it works, because it's not just scripts about HVAC. It's a sales process. And
that's right.
If you're in solar, plumbing, HVAC, you've probably heard, I want to think about it.
Yeah.
Who hasn't?
Or I got to talk to my wife, or I need to put this off, or,
exactly.
Your price is too high.
So back to what we're talking about, do the full inspection, make a list, handwritten. And this brings up the great question right here. Do you want to carry them along with you as you do your findings, and are we going in depth on each thing? So,
man, I got so much to say about that, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gene. Go ahead.
So, guys, I've done it both ways. John, thank you for the question. Very, very good question. Smart question, actually. So there's two different schools of thought. The old Airtime 500 approach, or the Clockwork Company's approach, was to keep the client with you. And their process was called the FORM method. We can take that question down. But the FORM method is family, occupation, recreation, or material possessions. It was an acronym, right? And those are the four things that they said it was okay to talk to the client about. And they wanted you to keep the client with you while you were doing the tune-up and all this other stuff. And I did that for several years and had some success. When I did that, my closing ratio was 72.36%. Okay? Not bad for a service technician I was actually doing maintenance. So 72.36% on free tune-up calls. So I go out to do a free tune-up, spend 75, 90, 120 minutes there, and I closed 72% of them, right?
And that means he closed something on the list 72% of the time. Didn't mean he sold the whole list.
Yeah.
That's not the purpose of the whole list, is to get the whole list every time. You're a success if they move forward with any work, because that's what we're there for, is to do work. It's okay if it's one item, 10 items, or $100,000 worth of items. It's okay. Any sale is a sale. We celebrate them all.
That's right. And so on the maintenance side, that was decent. 72% was all right. I wasn't setting the world on fire or anything, right? But that was keeping the client with me. That was actively trying to engage them through the use of questions about family, occupation, recreation, or material possessions. And it was exhausting. I didn't realize how exhausting it was. And Don, at the time, I didn't know that I only had about 5,000 words a day as a man before I ran out, and I was completely mentally trashed. And that's a statistic that you guys could look up on your own if you want. And a mentor at the time said, Gene, you got to stop doing that. People don't give a rip. They don't care that about watching you clean their air conditioning system. They're not going to invite you over for the 4th of July party or boat or parade day or whatever. They have no interest in that. So let them go do their thing. You do your thing. It'll be safer. You will, you're not going to get electrocuted because you're distracted by somebody, or get cut because you're distracted by somebody. And you can present everything all at the same time. And by the way, when I was doing the first method, I was presenting things as I would find them. That's called incremental selling.
Right.
Again, it works to a certain degree, but it doesn't work as well as waiting until the end. Listen, they can go off and do whatever they need to do. I'm perfectly happy to do my inspection. It'll go faster for me. It'll be more efficient. And then we come together at the end, and I go over all of my findings with them. I establish a need for anything that needs to be done. I let them know about things that are coming down the pipe in the future, and then also make sure that they see the things that they could have if they wanted them. Just the nice to have stuff like Don was talking about. So the answer to your question is, I hate keeping the clients with me now that I have done it without doing it that way, because I have so much more energy at the end of the day. Don?
And what I will say is always invite them to come along, because it makes you transparent. right? It makes them feel comfortable with you.
Yeah.
And the person who is going to look over I call it the little old man that's going to look over your shoulder, he doesn't need inviting. He's coming anyway, right? Because we often say, I don't want him to come along, so I don't want to invite him. Invite him. I'm going to go get started. If you want to watch, you may, and if not, that's fine too. Invite them to come along, because then they'll pretty much say, oh no, I got other stuff to do, and they'll push back from it. And the little old man, or the person who wants to just hang over your right shoulder the whole time that you're doing this, they don't need an invitation. They're coming anyway, right? So you're not setting yourself up. Crap, I've got somebody hanging over my shoulder now. They would have done that with or without the invitation.
But what if they're talking to me too much, Don?
Yeah. The question kind of alluded, do we go into building, establishing the need and talking about those items? The best solution is, as they're asking, give them very little back. Is that a good one? They're all good. What are you finding? Nothing I haven't seen before. Give them a comment back, but not get into the details, right? Make them wait for one big presentation versus 100 little presentations. Okay?
3 to 5 word answers.
Just simple little answers, and they'll typically scurry off when later. And that's perfectly, it's a great situation, and then you can do your inspection. You don't really want to write up your list with somebody looking over.
No.
You could take a couple of notes. It's okay, but you don't want the formal list with prices on it while somebody's watching. So step out to your truck. I need to go look up some items, report some things back to the office. I'm going to take a little couple of minute break just to, kind of cool off, calm down, and I'll be back in, and I'll be back over and get started in a couple of minutes. Go to the truck, write your list while they're not looking. That's a difference in what what some people say, for comfort advisors, sitting at the table, pull out that calculator and just go to typing all over it. And people's anxiety just go crazy. No, I don't like that. Just go out, put your presentation together, think it through, maybe even practice. What do I think I'm going to do?
When you say go out, you mean go out to your truck, right?
Go out to your truck. Yes. Go out, sit in your truck, write this all out. Again, summer, you turn the air conditioner on, you're cooling down. You may even change shirts so that you're not sweaty and nasty when you go back in, right? That's depends on the situation. You've been in a crawl space, take an extra shirt, look professional. They will notice that. They will. You're going to
have to get close to them, and if you're going to have to get close to them and you stink like BO, it's bad, y'all.
Yeah,
bad.
You're gonna get any put off you can so that they can get pushed back from you, and then get out.
I had that happen recently, Don.
Is that right?
I had it happen recently. We've got workers in and out of this house, and one of them came over the other day, and he was too close to me, and he absolutely just reeked of body odor. It was afternoon, you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, why didn't you bring another shirt? Why didn't you bring something to freshen yourself up with? Nobody wants to smell you. Guys, be cognizant of this. We had 13 white button-up shirts for our technicians, right? I don't care if they're white or not, but you need fresh gear. You need deodorant in your car, maybe some body spray. God forbid. Brush your teeth. Take Listerine in your truck. Have some flossers in there, for crying out loud. Care about your hygiene. You already have a hard enough time working up the courage to have conversations with people. You don't need your body odor and your personal hygiene getting in the way. And I'm sorry to have to say that, but it just, sometimes we just don't think about that. And that's so important to me, Don.
Yes. Sales can be like dating. Would you stink and look like that when you went to the bar to try to pick up, to go on a dinner date with a girlfriend or with?
Hell no.
So put a little bit of pride back into the professionalism. And again, take a second, a third shirt. You may need 2 shirts per call in some summer situations.
Yeah.
You possibly could use that. So take pride in it. Again, back to this full inspection, write it down, go out to your truck, organize it into the list, put the prices next to it while you're not with the customer, and then come back and do one presentation, not incremental sales. Do one presentation while
That's right.
are going through it. And it might only be 10 minutes that it takes to present a whole list. Some people will be like, oh, it's going to take hours. I could just do it while I'm doing it. 10, 15 minutes. That's nothing.
That's tops.
Yeah, that's nothing to go through that. And your professionalism and your authority, how they rank you as a technician, will do a good bit of the selling for you. You don't always have to say every word that you know about, surge protectors or
and the infection.
Yeah, hold back. You should learn all that, but you should hold back and make them drag that out of you, where they keep pulling information out of you rather than you just keep puking information all over them. Great sale. Sometimes the sales just happen when we've got to get this taken care of. You want me to just go ahead and do it? Yeah. Well, if you say we got to, let's do it. Why go through the whole process if they just will move forward? And then when they say, well, why do I need it? Now you've got all of the other things that you can talk about. That especially works for service technicians on service calls. All right. I get a comfort advisor. You got to go through building a little more information and establishing value, as the word gets thrown around too much in our industry. But
yeah,
as a service tech, you're an authority. You're there to do something for them, and your authority will make a huge difference there. So
I was hoping, Don, that we'd be able to go into maybe some of the I want to think about it and return on investment stuff, but I think we're going to have to do that on Tuesday just from a time perspective. You good with that?
Yeah.
Guys, listen, if you need help or if you've got additional questions or your team or you need training, you're a technician lone wolf out there and you got nobody training you, I'm going to invite you to give me a text. Shoot me a text on my personal cell. The cell number is 239-848-6533. I'll give it to you one more time for those of you that are listening on audio. 239-848-6533. That's my personal cell phone number. It lays right next to my bed at night. Hit me up with a text. I've got your back. I can help you with anything it is that you need in your service business from a sales perspective. And then we bring Don into the mix, and it's like not yin and yang, but like he's just got a whole different skill set, right, that we can provide for you. And if you're an owner, look, we've got a Wednesday meeting, 1 p.m. Eastern. You should message us or put down in the comments that you want more information on the owners meeting, and we'll get you a link to that. For the next 30 days, you can join us in there on us. We'll pay for the first 30 days for you. And then lastly, guys, before I'll give you a second, Don. Lastly, Don is doing on-sites. All right. If you guys need somebody to come out and train your technicians, get the process down for selling IAQ or water treatment or any of the electrical stuff that you've got. Those are the 3 areas that Don typically will specialize in. Put on-site down in the comments, and we can have a conversation about what it looks like to have your entire team trained. I think that Don has got a couple of openings in the second quarter here where he could come out and help you guys. So put on-site down in the comments. Don, what were you going to say before we wrap up?
Yeah, the owners group, the general managers, we have discussions about how to get more service agreements, how to grow the business, how to get more leads out of your service tech. So we're not always every class talking about, closing sales, because sometimes we just have to get more leads. So the owner, general manager, leader type meeting, Wednesdays, 1 p.m. Eastern, that's what we're typically.
I think we got a little bit of cut there.
Yeah.
There you're back.
how to get more leads out of your service department, how to get more, and how to get through the schedule being full, how to get more service agreements. A lot of the things business and the managers have to think about are typically talked about in that group. And then our other groups we're talking about now that you're on site, how to get the money, how to get a sale. So it'd be great to have some more in there. Put information on the owners group down there in there, and someone will send you the link for the next one. PCM, Profit Coach Mastermind, is what we call it. So that's the owners group every Wednesday, 1:00 Eastern. So,
and then last thing, guys, before I let you go, if you haven't heard, there's something phenomenal out there now, and it's called Lead Ninja Sales AI. All right, we are actually now taking customer telephone calls, making outbound telephone calls to customers to book appointments. We are 100% live with Lead Ninja AI, so we literally have got a 24-hour day, 7-day a week CSR that can either outbound for you or inbound for you. Those are two different jobs, right? It can it can replace your answering services. You have got to hear it. If you haven't heard a demo, put AI demo down in the comments or text AI demo to 239-848-6533. 239-848-6533, AI demo. And we'll send you a demo so that you can hear. It's like a real life sounding voice, and it's programmed with my knowledge and a lot of other knowledge as well. So if you want me answering your phone calls for you, if you want me making outbound telephone calls for you, if you want me following up on your sales, utilizing essentially all of my knowledge with our software program, put AI demo down in the comments or text it to 239-848-6533, and we will get you a demo. Don, I'll see you on Tuesday. I hope that you have a phenomenal weekend. And guys, go on over to the reviews for us, the reviews section. If you're on Apple or if you're on Spotify, please go on over and give us a 5-star review if you like the show. Love you, ninjas. I'll see you next week.